Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, welcome to the channel. This is Silver Chariot TV, where we discuss all things money, silver, crypto, stocks, investing. Today I want to do a very special video. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, and now that I've started my YouTube channel, I can get that done, because this topic is something that is near and dear to my heart. And if you couldn't tell already by the title, it is budgeting. How to budget 101, whatever you want to call it. Budgeting is one of the most, if not the most, things you can do in your personal finance journey. And I didn't understand the power of budgeting until I started budgeting. It completely opened my eyes. It's completely changed the way I spend and save and invest, and I absolutely love it. A lot of people, they'll talk down about budgeting, and they'll talk about, spreadsheets and Excel. You know what? I love that stuff, right? Because coming from a person who couldn't save a lot of money and just was trying to do the right things, but didn't understand why I was always broke from check to check, and then discovering budgeting is completely, a huge deal. So without any further ado, let's get into the topic. So what is budgeting? I'm going to give you the definitions right here. So a budget is an estimate of income and expenditure for a set period of time. All right. So the budget is not going to be exact, right? It can be daunting, because it's like, oh my gosh, I have all these bills, I have all these, I don't have enough money, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't have to be that way, right? Because it is an estimate. It doesn't have to be, down to the last penny. If you have every single detail and every single penny, that's fine. But to create a budget, you don't need every last penny. You just need rough numbers to get the ball rolling, so you can get a picture, get an idea of what you can and cannot do, right? So the way I like to think about it is a budget is a form of control, right? So if you're driving a car and you lose control of the vehicle, that's not good, right? So you need to stay in control. If you're not in control of your finances, you're gonna have a lot of problems. All right. So a budget is a form of control that you can enforce on your finances, right? Like I said, without that steering wheel in the car controlling it, you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna crash, ravine off a cliff, right? And nobody wants to do that. So let me show you how most people budget. Now, level 0 is, no budgeting. People don't even budget. They just do it in their heads, and they think that they can do it. And then these are the same people who are crying that they're, living check to check and they have no money. And honestly, what grinds my gears, and, I understand everyone has different, financial responsibilities, and everyone has a different situation, but it really, really grinds my gears when people say, oh, I don't have the money to invest. I don't have the money enough to save. I got too many bills, blah, blah, blah. And, it's a budget can fix almost any, personal finance issues, right? So most people don't even budget, right? Here's what they do. And I'm going to put this on paper, but they don't put this on paper, right? They do this in their head. They get a check. Let's say their check is, $1,000. And let's say they get paid every 2 weeks, right? So they get their $1,000. They might save, half of that, or a little more than half. Let's say their rent is $1,200. I'm just going to use these round numbers to make things easier. That leaves them with $400 left. After that $400, they might have, $75 phone bill, leaving with $325. They've, got to get some groceries for the house, $225. They've got to get gas. So let's, take 25, 75. How much is gas nowadays, man? All this gas things going around, it's getting pretty crazy. But let's say they use $100 for gas. So that's, $125. What am I doing here? 645, 325. okay, so let's say they use $100 for gas. That gives them $225. Sorry for my bad math. And then from here, this is when it starts getting bad, because once they pay all the bills, right, they just, they get a pizza for $25. They go out to the bar and spend $60 and they got $140. Then they go and, it just adds up. They just nickel and dime themselves. They want to grab a couple beers, whatever it is, right? You see something shiny in Target that you just have to have, and you end up spending $40. Next thing you know, you have $0, and you're telling people, you don't have the money to invest, and you don't know how people get ahead, and investing's for rich people, and you can't save, and you get into this whole mindset that most people are in nowadays. Now, what broke me out of this mindset where, you get money and you're doing the right thing and you're still trying to live a life, and then you end up at zero and you have nothing to save or invest, and it's like, what am I doing wrong? I'm trying to be, responsible. I'm trying to get ahead. I'm paying my bills. I'm getting nowhere. What's happening? Well, what you're probably not doing, and is you're not budgeting to zero. Right now, I steal this from Dave Ramsey. I love Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey's book, Total Money Makeover, completely changed my life and opened me up to a world of finances that I didn't even know I cared about. And then after that, I'm in love with everything money, especially budgeting. So what Dave Ramsey says to do is to budget to zero, right? You've got to budget in such a way that you don't end up like this, right? So every dollar has a name, Dave says, and if you don't tell your money where to go, you will always wonder where it went. And when I read that phrase, that blew open, the light bulb that went off in my head when I read that sentence, it's not even a light bulb. It was a nuclear bomb. If you don't tell your money where to go, you will always wonder where your money went. So let's do the same scenario, right? And let's do this. Let's say, sorry, I'm trying to hold this here. Let's say same thing, $1,000. You take $600 out for rent. Leaves you with $400. Still got the $75 bill here, so $325. You still got gas money to take out, so $225. And now this is where the magic starts to happen, right? So now you've got $225, and your bills for the week are paid up, right? You can't obviously pay all your monthly bills with this, right? Because you probably get paid 2 times a week. If you're lucky, you get paid 4 times a month. Sorry, not a week. So obviously there's another check that you would probably, get the other half of rent and, pay other bills that are not listed here. But this is where it starts getting tricky. People pay their bills and then they see $225, and what do? I've got spare money. I've got a little change. I can do this. I can do that. So then their friend calls them on a Friday night and, says, hey, let's go to the bar, or, you want to take your kids out to the movies, or, you had to get that shiny thing from Target that you just couldn't afford the last check. So here it is, right? And suddenly this turns into this, right? You have nothing. So what you need to do is tell your money where to go. And this is my favorite part about budgeting. You need to budget to zero. Okay? Don't budget to zero like this. Don't let your money just fly out. Budget it. So if you want to go to the movies, right? Just put, movies are expensive today, but, put $50 in there, right? Put $50 for the movies and you got $175. You want to go to the bar? Put another $50. You never know, right? Now you still got $125. Okay, then you say, okay, wait a second. I still got $125, and I budgeted for the fun stuff is already out of there, right? So now what do you want to do? Okay, well, I guess I do have, a credit card bill that I could pay off, and the credit card bill is, $75. Now you pay that $75 bill off, and you know, you got $50 in your pocket, and you've paid your bills, and you've had a little fun, but you've still got some left over. Now that $50, you know, you could save it, right? You could, again, if you have another debt, if you have another credit card, you know, minimum payment, you know, that you can pay off, anything like that. But don't let your money do this. Don't just let it fall, you know, and then on the next Monday, you're like, what did I do all weekend? You know, obviously you got to get groceries, you got to get things, obviously. But when you do a budget, you can do a budget a week out, 2 weeks out, a month out. At one point in time, I had my budget like a year and a half out, just because I knew my expenses and I knew what I was going to be spending, what I was going to be coming in. And there's no real major changes unless you pay off a credit card bill, or if you know, add new debt, or anything like that. But, or if you change jobs, you know, your income might change. But for the most part, everyone should be able to do at least this. If your bills are just drowning you and you have nothing and nowhere to go, then, you know, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be ugly, right? But we can work through that. So that was Dave Ramsey, right? So that was, this method here helped me get out of debt so fast, right? Just understanding that I was spending $400 on fast food every month. You know what I mean? Like, whatever ridiculous number you could think of, you know, it really shows your spending habits. If you really want to scare yourself, what you can do is go to your bank account online and look up the last, you know, 30 days of all the places you've eaten out, the McDonald's, the Wendy's, the cookouts, you know, and everything that's not groceries, and add those up for 30 days and see if that number doesn't scare the hell out of you. But moving on, so that's, you know, the really basic, you know, how to budget. All right. Now, how does this play into, you know, investing and that kind of stuff? Well, I will link it below, but after, you know, I read Dave Ramsey's book, and I read you know, a dozen other financial books, I came across The Richest Man in Babylon, which you may have heard before. Now, I don't want to, you know, spoil it. I'll link it below if you want to read it. It's a really nice read. It's really easy to read, really easy to understand. And in that book, one of the main points that you want to take from that book is to pay yourself first, right? Pay yourself first. So already back here, we have the people who don't budget at all, and their money is just crap, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. Then you've got the second level of people who are budgeting, and they're trying their hardest and their darndest, and they're still coming up at zero, and they feel like they're grinding. This is how you really spin everything on its head. Okay, so let's do that same thing, right? $1,000 you get paid, right? For that, you know, let's say 2-week period. You know, I know some people may be in the 1,500 range, some people may be in the 500 range, but let's just work with me, right? The first thing you do in Richest Man in Babylon, he tells you that 10% of everything you make is yours, right? And again, I don't want to spoil it, but I'll give you a little synopsis of, you know, this 10% rule. You know, basically, the richest man in Babylon, before he was rich, he's asking, you know, another rich man, how'd you get rich? And they're going back and forth, and the rich man eventually tells the worker, you know, 10% of everything you make is yours. And once you learn that rule, you know, your life is going to be different. And, you know, he kind of laughed at him and just said, that's it, 10%? You know, you must be pulling my leg. It can't be that easy to get rich from saving 10% of your money, is what the man was saying. And the rich man basically told him, I'm not going to tell you any lies, you know, 10%. Okay. So $1,000, the first thing you do, right? And I know, because we're conditioned to be workers and bill payers, this is going to break a lot of people's brains, but you got to understand it's going to change your life. Forget about those bills for a second, okay? I don't care if the people are down your neck calling you 3 times a day, you know what? They're going to continue to call you until you get that money up. Until you pay them, they're going to continue to call you. They're going to continue to harass you. So if they're going to harass you, they might as well harass you and you get something out of it, right? So I know your instinct is to take that money and say, I got to pay the phone bill. I got to pay the light bill. I got to pay the phone. I got to do this. I got to pay I got owe this person. Just stop for a second, okay? 10% of everything you make is yours. Now, when the worker heard this in the story, he goes, well, 100% of what I make is mine, right? I worked the 40 hours. I worked the 80 hours. 100% of what I make is mine. And, you know, he just gets laughed at. And he goes, well, you say 100% of your money is yours. But, you know, the clothes that you wear, don't you have to go and buy them from a tailor? Well, yeah, okay. And the food that you eat, don't you have to buy that from a farmer? Well, yeah, okay. And the house that you live in, don't you have to pay the landlord? Well, okay, yeah. Okay, and the drinks that you want to drink, don't you have to go to the wine merchant and buy your wine? Well, yeah, okay. So 100% of your paycheck is not yours. 90% of your paycheck is actually other people's money. If you think about it, why do you work? You work to pay off other bills. 90% of that money is not yours. That 10% though, that's yours. You get that $1,000 and you save yourself $100 right off the bat. Don't look at another bill. Don't call a creditor. Don't pay off your mortgage. Don't give your kids allowance money. Don't go to the movies. Don't do anything. You pay yourself 10% first. I don't care what you say. Pay yourself first. You can put that into a stock. You can put that into silver. You can put that into your 401k. The easiest way to do this is just set your 401k to 10% and let it rip. You won't even see the money come out of your paycheck. It'll just go straight there, right? But 10% is a number. That $100 can go to an emergency fund. If you don't have an emergency fund of at least $1,000, which is what another thing Dave Ramsey suggests, save 10 paychecks, right? 2 paychecks a month. That's in 5 months. You'll have $1,000 saved up that fast. Now, from the remaining money, let's say you still have to take out your $600 for, you know, half your rent. Let's see, you have $300. Your phone bill is still going to be, you know, $75. That brings you to $225. And you know, the groceries minus $100. You still got $125. And then, you know, if you want to go out to the bar with your buddies and spend $50, you can do that. Okay? And you still got 75 left. If you want to go and you know, go to the movies or you know, go bowling or what have you, you know, now you can kind of screw this money away, right? Now, if you have bills and debt, obviously, you know, you don't want to just screw your money away. If you have, you know, a credit card, you can pay $75 on the credit card and you're still balancing to zero, right? The goal is still to get to zero, but you just don't want to get to zero like this. You don't want to get to zero where you're paying all your bills and then whatever's left over you just spend because you think it's yours, and then you're broke. And you also might be paying your bills and getting to the end and saying, all right, well, I budgeted to zero, but I'm still paycheck to paycheck. Because here you're just being irresponsible. Here you're budgeting and you're paying your bills, but you're not paying yourself. When you come to start paying yourself first, then you pay your bills, then you budget to zero, things will change for you. And the reason I even wanted to make this video was because this week I had, you know, I had some other expenses that I wasn't, you know, planning on paying for. So normally where I would pay myself, you know, let's say my paycheck is $750, and let's say I would pay myself $75 first. Well, this week I couldn't do that because I had some extra bills I needed to take care of. So I said, you know what, let me just at least pay myself. If I can't do the full 100%, 10%, let me at least do 50. So out of the $750, I gave myself $50. Spot price was $18. $23.98. The local coin shop that I go to charges $5 over spot. So $23.98 for 1 ounce of silver. I took my $50 that I paid myself first, and I got me 2 ounces of silver for 47 and change. Now, 2 ounces of silver may not sound a lot to a lot of people, but when you're on a budget and you want to do the right thing, you want to pay your bills, you want to, still live your life, have groceries and have some type of quality of living, but you also want to invest. Don't ever say that you don't have the money to invest, or that, it's too expensive, or what have you. You can do it. I promise you can do it. I got myself out of more than $10,000 of debt so fast because I was being conscious of where I was spending my money. I was investing. I was doing the things that we aren't taught to do. We're taught to, be consumers, spend our money, open credit cards, buy a house, get mortgage, get into debt. And then we have these Federal Reserve debt notes that we pass around and we call money, but we all know that's money. If you're here, that's not real money. I'm not even gonna get into it. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna link Richest Man in Babylon in the link below, so you can check that out. It's a free read. I'm also gonna link Dave Ramsey's book. I'm not getting any commission or anything off of it. It's just a really good book, and I advise everyone to read it if they're having any issues with money, budgeting, saving, anything like that. I would do that. And that's it. Like, I hope I didn't blow past this. I hope I didn't. I hope you all got some value from this. I know I'm in the car. I could have been a lot more concise had I waited till I got home. But I mean, you guys get it, right? It's not rocket science, right? You budget to zero. You pay yourself first. You invest that 10%. You put it somewhere where you're not going to spend it. It's not Christmas money. It's not birthday money. It's not anything like that, okay? That is investment money. You put it into silver. You put it into gold. You put it into stocks. You put it into, crypto, whatever your little, passion lays for investing. That's where you're going to put it, okay? You don't want to save 10% and then, go and blow it all on some, extravagant, a birthday party because you feel like, oh, I saved all this money. Look what I can do, right? Like, you wanna get ahead. So I hope I've not rambled too much. I'm a little stuffy right now. Sorry. I hope this is a good video. I hope somebody gets value from this. I hope somebody learns something from this. If you guys and gals want, and non-binary folks, if you all want, more info, more detailed explanation on how this works, or if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Leave a comment as to how you save your money. How do you budget? Maybe it'll help somebody. And, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to provide value, to provide content, to help people with their money journey. I can make another video and upload, exactly how I started my, personal finance journey. But that's out of the scope of this video. So I'm already running at half an hour almost. So thanks for watching. Comment, like. I appreciate your time. You can literally never get this time back. And that's another thing. Let me end the video with this. Thank you so much for watching my videos, because if you want to be honest, currency is our only time. Time is our only currency that we have. And, when you spend your time, it's not a currency you can get back. You can never get your time back. So the fact that you spent 24 going on 25 minutes listening to my voice talk about budgeting either means that you are ready to make a life change in your life and get to budgeting and make a big difference, or you're extremely bored. Either way, thanks for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Love you. Peace out. Silver Chariot TV out.